You know the accident up there?
Yeah.
Someone got hurt.
They did?
A lady. She broke her neck.
Oh my god, but you can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window.
Baby, why are you shaking? Cole, what's wrong?
Did you ever talk to your mom about how things are?
I don't tell her things.
Why not?
Because she doesn't look at me like everybody else, and I don't want her to. I don't want her to know.
Know what?
I see dead people walking around like regular people.
I don't see anything. Are you sure they're there?
Sometimes you feel it inside, like you're falling down real fast. You ever feel the prickly things on the back of your neck?
Yes.
That's them. They get mad. It gets cold.
How often do you see them?
All the time. They're everywhere. They want me to do things for them.
I think that they know that you're one of these very rare people who can see them. So you need to help them.
What if they don't want to help?
I don't think that's the way it works.
How do you know for sure?
Is anyone there?
Look out! Please make them leave.
I'm working on it.
Hello, welcome to the Average Film Enjoyers podcast, your favorite film podcast. I'm here with Jagger. Trey's not feeling great today, so we're going to talk Shyamalan. It's time. The dreaded, but also it's going to be a really fun watch through. We're starting with hot takes already in the first episode, just as a little precursor. So, going to be a very fun episode.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Scared, but doing all right.
Yeah, I'm very interested to talk about Unbreakable. It's gonna be a good time.
Right.
Yeah, I went and visited my grandma today. That was fun. Played
Nice.
some more Elden Ring. Got McDonald's for dinner. You know, just doing cool guy shit.
Yeah.
Should we just jump right into movie news? One thing I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can run. There's some more Knives Out castings. Glenn Close casted. W.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner casted, which I think is funny is because it's like the MCU casting that ends up being the villain. So Jeremy Renner's probably the killer. We'll
That's
see.
interesting.
Pretty funny. And then the other casting, Mila Kunis, released from actress jail.
Man, she hasn't acted since, I don't know, Black Swan is probably the last real project she's done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like she dropped out to do the all the humanity work with Ashton Kutcher, and then there was that thing last year when they were defending that guy from that 70s show. I can't remember his name. The really bad guy.
Bad dude.
Bad dude. So kind of surprising casting, but
who knows? Pulp Fiction brought John Travolta back. This might do something.
Yeah. This could be an interesting movie. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Really quick, Joker 2 will likely premiere at Venice Film Festival. Sick.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, they played the trailer for it before Furiosa, and I'm just like so ready. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
That trailer's gas.
Yes.
Something I know Trey listening will love this. Mike Flanagan officially set to direct the next Exorcist movie.
As long as
It's
it's not
official.
David Gordon Green, I have hope.
Yep.
My dick is currently hard.
Yep. See, that's what we're talking about. You know, the Flan Man. He's a beast. He's so good. I don't know if you saw this. We don't get too political here, but Discussing Film tweets out, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York star Donald Trump has been found guilty on 34 counts. That's amazing.
Oh, that's
Elite
great.
headline. Elite headline.
That's great.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Last thing. Giancarlo Esposito will officially play a villain in the new Captain America. Get this poor man. Like, he's a phenomenal villain, but he has been typecast into villains so hard, it's insane.
Who knows?
I feel bad for him.
He doesn't seem like a villain in Maxine, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. That could be good.
Yeah,
I'm not too hopeful for a new Captain America movie, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a new Sherlock Holmes movie coming.
Really?
Yeah,
well, that's always something.
Said it's very much still alive, which doesn't sound super hopeful.
Yeah,
that's a little scary. We'll see.
They need to remind you that something exists. It's not very much alive.
Let me tell you, I'm a Guy Ritchie meat rider, but those movies, they're all right. They're all right. They're not that bad. The first one's good.
Did you see the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
I haven't yet, but I'm really scared to watch it.
It looks so bad.
I love Guy Ritchie so much. Like,
I don't know.
I've seen most of his movies, and most of them are over a 4-star for me.
Totally fair.
Snatch is one of my favorite movies, like, ever.
I still haven't gotten around to it, but
Snatch and Lock, Stock are both. They're just hysterical. They're so funny.
All right, so
let's just bust into the watch list. I'm sure you have more than I do.
I'm sure I do. Let me quickly count. And excluding Shyamalan, it's 10.
When did we record? We recorded
the 29th.
Okay. Yeah. You can kick it off. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so I'll read 5, and then we'll just sort of go back and forth.
Yeah, sure.
After we recorded, I showed a friend Challengers. We both liked it. Challengers is awesome. Then I watched Casino, which was great. I watched Casino beforehand, and I loved it. Then I watched Mysterious Skin, which was a big
You
mistake.
sure did.
Not happy I watched it at all. Still think about one good scene in there.
the bathtub scene?
Yeah, haunted me.
Rough scene.
Oh my god. I have that at a 2.5.
Okay, hold on. We gotta pause. We gotta talk about this movie. Go ahead first, though.
I have it at a 2.5 because I hated every second of watching it, but I really respected it. So while realistically, as far as a lot of things go, this movie's probably like a 4-star. I could not give it that rating because of how genuinely miserable my experience watching it was. I hated every single second of it.
So, do you think that the movie being so uncomfortable to watch isn't it doing its job?
No, it's very much doing its job. But since there was absolutely no enjoyment there, back when I started reviewing movies, I gave like Requiem for a Dream 4.5, American History X 4.5, and even though I didn't love them, like watching them, it was a rough watch on both of those. I double featured them in one day early on in my film career, in my film journey.
Damn,
rough day. But I've learned to just rate a little bit more on enjoyment. Like half my rating has to be enjoyment. And I really don't think there is a single ounce of enjoyment in that whole movie. Which is why I just decided to split it down the middle. I have that same rating for Freddy Got Fingered because I didn't like it.
Oh my god, that movie's awesome.
But
it's so funny.
I need to rewatch that movie for sure.
It's on Disney Plus, which is insane. Yeah, it's a Fox movie.
Oh, Poor Things is also on Disney Plus. So, yeah.
Dude, the scene in Freddy Got Fingered when he's in the hospital in the maternity ward and he pulls the baby out and starts throwing it around like a whip. I was losing my mind. I could not believe what I was watching. I gotta watch that again. That movie's so funny.
But yeah, let's talk about this one for a second.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? There
Yeah.
were just a couple of scenes in there that I so desperately wanted to skip, just because but I didn't. I didn't skip
Yeah.
more than one scene. But oh my god,
Yeah. It's a very uncomfortable movie, but like it makes sense that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is doing such weird shit, like setting
yeah,
firecrackers off in a kid's mouth. Like it makes sense because he's horrifically traumatized.
yeah,
And like I think it's so interesting that you get I can't remember the other kid's name or the actor, but like he was traumatized to the point of repression that it's so deeply buried that he's like, oh yeah, aliens hit.
yeah,
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt went the complete other way, where he's like at the point of acceptance to it, like rules his life, and he's like, this guy thinks I'm scum, not scum, but you know what I mean. Like I'm a piece of meat. That's what I'm going to become. And I think that it's such an interesting character study of the two sides of like the outcome of trauma, childhood trauma, especially because you can't process it when you're that young. And I
yeah,
think it's so interesting, especially the use of the alien abduction thing, because like you read the synopsis, it's kind of like, oh, this it's weird. And the movie has this like weirdly, it's like ethereal almost. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's like a lot of the scenes don't feel real. And I
yeah.
think it's just so effective in its messaging. So yeah, it's extremely uncomfortable, and I love the ending. Like when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's telling him what went down, or is he telling him, or is it just a monologue?
He's telling him, and
Yeah,
he's like, "Are you sure you want to hear the rest of it?" And it's just
yeah,
getting worse and worse and worse. And I mean, yeah, there's the thing, right? It's brilliant. It is a brilliant film, and I'm not
yeah,
going to deny that in any way. I think that it is an incredible, incredible film. But the complete uncomfort of watching this movie and the fact that some lines are said, and it's just like, hold on a minute, did they just say that? Like,
yeah,
wait a second, did that just happen? Um, and I mean, I sat for probably 2 hours unable to watch anything
yeah, and that's valid.
because I was so completely horrified. Because I mean, there's a lot of realism to this movie, and like you said,
Yep.
a lot of scenes don't feel real, but there's nothing, and like genuinely nothing, stopping the events of this movie from happening.
Yeah,
Um, and that's really sickening to think about.
yeah, it's really sickening.
So am I glad I watched this movie? Yes, but also am I glad I watched this movie? No. Um, the experience sucked, but overall, I am glad that I watched it. It is definitely a monumental piece of cinema
Yeah.
that I just cannot, I can't rate that highly because I didn't enjoy it. We're gonna come back to that same concept soon, though. Um,
All right.
after Mysterious Skin,
I have Mysterious Skin at a 4.5, by the way.
totally fair.
I didn't give it a 5. I was like, again,
There's
because it's,
things, man.
yeah,
Just a couple of things.
yeah.
Then I rewatched Casino, and that brings me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I need
Then
to
the
watch
last one.
Casino.
Then the last one was Friday the 13th Part 2 because I got tickets now for Monday for In a
Nice.
Violent Night 2. Excited for that.
Dude, I need to go see it. It's, yeah,
I'm so
I don't know if
excited.
you, there's a new Destiny raid dropping next week. I don't really play that game that much anymore, but me and my high school friends still do the raids on day one. And so I booked off 4 days next week to adjust my sleep schedule and then do the raid Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think I'm gonna go. I might do a double feature on. I might do a double feature Thursday
Sounds good. Oh, with
because they're
what?
playing. They're playing North by Northwest in theaters, and I love that movie. Nope, Jagger's stuttering. Yeah, they're playing. They're playing North by Northwest, which I love. It's so good. Have you
I'm,
seen it? It's like a James Bond. It's like a Sean Connery James Bond movie, pretty much. It's awesome. Yeah, it's weird. I still need to go see Hitman. but Hitman's dropping on Netflix on Friday. So I'm like, do I want to pay for it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it on Netflix.
Oh shit, I did not realize the new Bad Boys movie drops already.
Are you gonna go see?
Oh yeah, dude, I love Bad Boys. I even like the third one. I didn't
Oh.
realize, but The Watchers, the movie from Shyamalan's daughter, comes out this week.
Ooh,
Shit, maybe I
fitting.
should go see that. Yeah, that'd be fitting. Yeah, maybe I'll do a double feature of that.
And then now it's your first one, and then
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, I rewatched Beverly Hills Cop with my girlfriend because we were in the mood for. I was in the mood for something fun, and she was on a Eddie Murphy train after that, which I'll get to next. But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, I love it. It's really funny.
Totally fair.
Talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched The Coffee Table because that movie's been hyped through the roof on TikTok.
Oh, dude,
I've been having a rough week, man. So The Coffee Table is so incredibly, unbelievably screwed up. Or not that screwed up, because screwed up makes it sound like it's not a fun watch, and if I said it wasn't an entirely enjoyable watch, I'd be lying. It's like this movie goes from a crazy comedy that's just hysterically funny to like complete Safdie Brothers tragedy.
Ooh.
The blink of an eye. And once it goes, it goes. Trey, if you're still listening, you have to watch this movie. He is going
Maybe I should watch this tonight.
love this movie. You would also love it. It is so good. Oh my god.
Movies Are Therapy, Chris on TikTok, he watched it at the end of April, and his review, he didn't score it. He said, if you're having a great day and you definitely would like that to stop, watch this movie. Indescribably hard watch. Impossible to rate. Is it effective? Absolutely. Did I hate every second of it? Yes, but it wanted me to.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it. But I did have a lot of fun watching it, honestly. But it is a really messed up concept. So when it was a 4.5, I just booted it down to a 4 because I was like, okay, maybe people will look at me differently if I rate that high. But it is awesome. Knowing your ratings, there's a good chance you give it a 5. Honestly.
Shit. Cam might watch this after the podcast.
But to put it in a nicer way, the fact that people are calling this like crazy disturbing, absolutely sickening, a little bit stupid. It has a wild concept. Don't get me wrong, but it is a shoestring movie that uses its wild concept to the high horses. But I was deciding, me and my dad were gonna watch a movie, a horror movie, because sometimes we do that. And he said, because I had been talking to him about Devil, since I know we need to watch that for the podcast. And I said he also directed this movie that Trey said was absolutely traumatizing called the Poughkeepsie Tapes. And he said, oh, I've heard of that. I've been wanting to watch that for years. So we were deciding between Coffee Table and Poughkeepsie Tapes. And we just sort of stuck it to the Coffee Table, and I'm very glad we did.
Have you seen the Poughkeepsie Tapes?
No.
Dude, Trey is not spinning. There's one scene that's particularly disturbing in this movie. It's so boring. It's like...
Is it?
Okay, so here's the thing. You watch this movie, and it's like a true crime documentary style film. It plays very much into It's All Real. But you know it's not, so it's not effective.
Okay.
The acting's shit, but it's pretty much like you're watching a bunch of stupid detectives, and then you watch like a saw trap.
That's it?
And then you watch more detectives, and then you watch a rape scene, and then you watch another set of detectives, and then you watch a murder. It's so boring. And it's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable in what way?
So there's a shot. It's the only scene that I think is effective in this movie. There's a rape scene in this movie I hate. It's really distasteful, and it's pretty much like this girl gets picked up like as a hitchhiker, and he locks the doors and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna rape you." Like that's it. And it's like a long scene, and she's freaking out. I hate it. It's a terrible scene. But there's a scene later in the movie, and it's this girl tied to a pole. I won't like spoil it too much, but the camera is right in her face. It's super creepy. Best scene in the movie, but it's like right at the end.
So they wait until the end to put a good scene.
Yeah, and I think the actual ending is pretty gimmicky. I don't know. Me and my girlfriend watched this, and we both fell asleep watching it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really boring. It's really
Oh,
boring. Oh god,
but-
here he
All
comes.
right, I'm gonna need you guys to shush for a second because I'm gonna glaze here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm sitting out today because my mental health ain't great, but I gotta come in here and defend maybe the most fun. It is the most proud of a review I've ever been. I mean, Jagger's read my review. I still can't rate it to this day. There is a scene. So it's basically about this serial killer. They're called the Poughkeepsie Killer, and they found hundreds and hundreds of VHS tapes in his basement of like his entire reign as this killer. Him torturing his victims, killing people, raping people.
Yeah. Do you know?
Doing
Were you?
shit? Hey,
Sorry.
Shush. And my mic quality is probably awful because I'm using an AirPod right now.
It's not bad.
But there is this scene at the end, and it's not a spoiler because it is not going to affect your viewing experience. But there's this scene at the end. There for the last third, they focus on this one girl that he kept alive from the ages of like 14 to 30 years old. He just kept her in his basement. And they finally like got her out, and she's back living with her family. And they're trying to interview her, like obviously, because it's like there's supposed to be a documentary. And she keeps saying, "I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say?" And at first, you don't really think twice about it, but then you start to put together that she has been trained for years to say exactly what she's been trained to not think for herself in any situation because she has been sexually and mentally tortured and abused for over 15 years in a guy's basement. And it is fucking heartbreaking. And she's like, "I don't know what you want me to say." And then she goes to like wipe away her tear, and she's missing a hand. And that's what, like, it was like the final nail in the coffin. I was just like, this is fucking insane. So I'm going to come on here. I think you should go into it with an open mind, Jagger. I think it's out. I think if its
Maybe I need to
goal is
rewatch it.
if its goal is to mess you up and make you insanely uncomfortable and need to take a shower after, then it succeeds.
Jagger's gonna hate this
Because-
movie then.
But I do think it's like, I don't know. I think it's worth a watch. Even if it's just to say like, yeah, I've seen that movie. You know?
I was
Okay.
gonna say that I do remember a home invasion scene that clicked in my head being pretty effective. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Trey?
Yeah. Well, there's no score either. It's just
Yeah.
people's screams,
And
it's
I just-
haunting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll rewatch that.
But
I don't know. Were you
that's-
listening to the thing about the coffee table?
Yeah, I was.
Trey,
Well,
you
check it
gotta watch The Coffee Table. You're gonna love
I
it.
know. I will. But yeah,
Yeah, I'll
just
check
wanted
this
to
one out.
hop in for a second and glaze the Poughkeepsie tapes.
I'll check this one out. But when I was going into it with my dad, I checked the parents' guide, just the sex and nudity section on IMDb. It said there was no like shown rape or anything.
Is that a lie?
I don't know. Is it?
Shit.
Whatever. I don't know. weird sounding movie that now I need to check out just for the sake of
Oh, for Poughkeepsie
Um,
tapes?
yeah, just for the sake
Oh,
of my own state and the
yeah. I don't think it's on screen, but it's like there's a very long scene where this guy is just in a car and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna rape you," and she's like, "Well, what if I enjoy it? Then you can just fuck me and let me go." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll fuck you and let you go." And then he's like, "Never mind, I'm gonna kill you at the end, no matter what." It's such a weird scene.
yeah, I gotta check this out now. I just
Yeah,
want to have my own segment.
it's on Tubi. Shout out Tubi,
It's on
sponsor us.
Tubi?
Yep.
Oh, well, yeah, there we go. I'll check that out at some point. Maybe tonight.
I remember watching it, and the ads on Tubi woke us up. That's really funny. What did you rate, or the coffee table? Did you rate it?
I gave it a 4-star just because I felt a little bad giving it a 5.
Yeah, that's fair. I might give it a 5. We'll see. My next watch. Were you done with the coffee table?
Oh yeah, just watch it.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm gonna watch it like right after this. We were considering an Eddie Murphy little binge. My girlfriend goes, "Can we watch Daddy Daycare?"
Yes.
Fuck yes, we
Always
can watch
yes.
Daddy Daycare, dude. It is so funny. Oh my god, I don't know if you've seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, but
Oh my god, every
seeing
episode.
seeing
Yeah.
Jeff Garlin in a kids movie is so weird because he's just the worst human being in Curb. Oh my god, dude, I love Daddy Daycare. It's super wholesome. It's really funny. Goated cast, like Regina King is in this movie, which is crazy. Steve Zahn just going crazy with the Star Trek references. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I love Daddy Daycare. It holds up super well for like a kids movie I saw when I was very young. It's peak. I gave it a 5-star. Also, I don't know if you've seen, speaking of peak kids movies, in the Real Talk Discord, we do this film raffle every week where you put your name in and they randomize all the names and you give a film to the next person in line, like a train
What
that
were you
they
saying?
haven't seen. Oh, we do this raffle every week in the Real Talk Discord where they get a big list, everyone who wants to enter, they randomize the names, and then it's like a big train, and you recommend a film to the next person in line that they've never seen. And
Okay.
I gave the guy that I got The Pacifier with Vin Diesel, which is maybe my favorite kids movie of all time. And he
If
was
I've
like,
seen
dude,
that movie, I haven't seen it in years.
he goes, dude, should I watch Stalker tonight or should I watch watch The Pacifier? And I said, you're watching The Pacifier, and he gave it a 5-star. He was like, dude, this movie rips. It's so good. Yeah, Pacifier's peak. Daddy Daycare also peak. Watch it if you haven't seen it in a while. Yeah, 5 stars. It's gas.
My next one, I'm gonna keep it quick. I watched The Queen's Gambit with Anya Taylor-Joy, probably in about February or March. I didn't know it was on Letterboxd. Saw someone else log it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's on here." So I gave it a 4.5. It's
I
excellent.
need to get to that.
It's really good.
It was like before I knew how to play chess because when did that come out?
2020. So
Yeah.
the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, I learned how to play chess with my girlfriend over FaceTime during the pandemic because we couldn't see each other. So we just played chess. But when the Queen's Gambit dropped, it was like, well, I don't know how to play chess, so I feel like I shouldn't watch this. So
Yeah.
now I should watch it.
I don't know a single thing about chess, but it's good. I mean,
My only thing was like, I feel like the payoffs in the big chess scenes, which I'm assuming it's like, oh, the Queen's Gambit happens or whatever, and it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on, so this isn't effective. So I was like, I feel like I should learn how to play chess before watching this. I want to get to it though. I want to get to it.
check it out. It's good. It's not too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. Next, I did some really ill shit. Really ill shit. I've been trying to, tick through the Letterboxd top 250. There's a film on this, and it's the series finale to an anime. And I didn't feel like watching the
show just to watch this movie. I'm waiting to watch it.
I did not want to watch the anime, so I was like, screw it, I'm going to watch the movie. Of course, we're talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion, the end of Evangelion. This movie has some of the craziest visuals I've ever seen in my entire life. It is actually a banger. It made me want to watch the anime because
The whole show is like that too.
yeah,
So it's 26 episodes of visuals.
yeah. Sorry, have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't. Oh
There's
man, I gotta get it.
yeah,
I have
dude,
the
it's on
whole thing up.
Netflix.
I have
Oh
the whole
shit.
thing up. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's definitely like like a series finale because they're like, oh, episode 27 at the start of the movie or whatever. But it's weird, like halfway through the movie, credits roll, like the end of an episode. And it's like the full credits, like 4 minutes long, like 45 minutes through the movie.
And it's like that weird gray screen with the spinning girl at
Yeah,
the
the
top
spinning.
right. Yeah.
And the credits are spinning, and it's like the second half of the movie, incomprehensible plot. Visuals are insane, though. I was like, I need to watch the show. I'm not even kidding.
I'm
But-
wondering if it's the way it was described to me, because I know like 3 of the movies are on the 250.
Yeah. Oh, you cut out.
I said, what's the order to watch the whole thing in?
Oh.
And I was told to watch the whole show, and the
Yeah.
movies are all rewrites of the last 6 episodes.
Yeah.
If you
So
watch the whole show, it's a redoing of it.
that sounds right. I don't know this because of the show, but I was listening to a podcast about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that shit gets super convoluted at the end. And one of the guys that was talking about it loves Neon Genesis, and he goes, now I need to talk about anime. And he's talking about how at the end of making Evangelion, the like producers and shit were really like trying to tie him down. So he was like, fuck you. And he made this crazy movie that like redid it all. And that's very similar to what Final Fantasy VII did. So like that makes sense what you said there.
Fair enough. Yeah. So I got to check that out. I'll check out all the
Hell yeah.
movies soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sick as hell. Like if I knew what was going on in the story, probably would be a way higher rating. I gave it a 3.5.
Well, a
Purely.
3.5, not knowing what's going on, that's
Yeah.
a good.
But I was so uninterested in watching this movie that I watched it in English while playing video games. And halfway through, I was like, okay, this is crazy. I'm turning the games off, putting this shit in Japanese. And then I watched the rest of it. That's how good it was to look at. Yeah, it was sick. Peak.
Okay, speaking of sick movies, my bad. Sick movies. Trey, if you're still there, I've got another one for you. Run, Lola, Run.
I saw that you logged this. I got so hyped, dude.
Holy God, this movie's incredible. I could see this also being a 5 for Trey. So you've seen it, I assume.
Yeah, we watched it in school, actually, in English class. Because
Oh
we were
my
talking about plot, and like the movie runs over and over, and it was like a way to describe plot mechanisms or something like that. I don't know. I was like, this movie's sick as fuck.
Yeah. Despite the fact that when Lola screamed, it completely pulled me out of the movie because I had this movie loud because it has an awesome score and
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Do you want to
but-
give a quick rundown of the plot for people who might not have seen this? Because this, I don't think, is a crazy well-known movie.
No, it's not, and it's 80 minutes long.
Yeah.
So the plot of this movie is that it really just throws you into the action immediately with crazy cinematography and stuff.
Yep.
This lady's boyfriend is sort of in like a crime syndicate situation, right? And he is on a train, and a homeless man steals $100,000 from him. So he has 20 minutes to get back $100,000. So he calls his girlfriend and says, hey, I need $100,000 in the next 20 minutes, or else I'm going to stick up this supermarket.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, you can't do that. So the movie runs 3 times in 80 minutes. So it's short little plots. And in all of the times, she slightly changes something about the way she's getting the money. And it's about the 3 run-throughs to try and get the guy, her boyfriend,
It's so cool.
$100,000. And it is the coolest movie I've maybe ever seen. It is
Yeah.
just awesome.
It was so cool. I was at Value Village, like a thrift shop, and I watched this in like 10th grade, and I'm old now, and I saw it there for like $5. I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen this movie in forever. I totally forgot about it. So I bought it. I need to rewatch it.
Oh my god, man.
It is packed with juice. It is so fast paced. It's insane.
Wait, Trey, have you not seen it? Because if you haven't, I'm genuinely surprised. Like, this seems like something he would have seen.
He hasn't seen it. Yeah.
You haven't seen it? Yeah, man. Check this
Dude,
one out.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And it's only got 230,000 logs on Letterboxd, which by Letterboxd standards is not that much. This
Yeah.
movie needs so much more recognition. It's awesome. So good. Shout out to my dad for begging me to watch it.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. My next watch, I've been listening to audiobooks at work, and I was going through the Dark Tower. It got a little too much for me to try and listen to it while I was baking. And
Yeah, you getting too juiced up?
yeah,
Had to come back for the Dark Tower chat. Oh,
yeah,
boy,
Dark-
greatest book series ever made.
yeah. The drawing of 3 is so crazy, and it's like multiple plot lines, multiple characters, crazy multiverse shit. It's so good. It's absolute peak. And I was like, I can't listen to this at work. Like, I need to lock in. So I stopped. And my girlfriend was like, oh, you should read I'm Thinking of Ending Things, because we watched the movie and then she read the book right after we watched it. She was like, dude, the book is way different from the movie and it's better. And we both love the movie. So I was like, shit, I need to read the book. This is a long time ago, granted. This was in 2020. And so they have the entire audiobook on Spotify. This is a really short book. It's like 220 pages. So the audiobook's like 5 hours. So I was like, shit, I can bang this out in like 2 days of work.
Yeah.
Listen to the first half of the book at work. It's gas. It's better than the movie already. It's very different because the things that happen in the book are adapted into. Have you guys seen the movie?
I haven't.
So the dinner scene, Trey,
Dude,
a lot of the
Jagger would eat that shit.
Yeah, you would love this movie. You would love this movie. It's really good. It's really good.
So weird and
It's very
convoluted, and it requires so much analysis. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
deals a lot with age
But
aging.
first, the reason I came in here, Jagger, if you want to read a book series or a badass 6-shooting cowboy named Roland travels throughout the multiverse fighting 5-foot lobsters and evil death robots, read The Dark Tower. He also fights a witch.
Yep.
At one point.
So good, dude.
There's a whole colony in the Dark Land where they're basically living next to a volcano. It's fucking sick, dude. The
Hell
Dark
yeah.
Tower, Stephen King. All right.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So I was saying to Trey, like, there's this whole dinner table scene in the movie, and it is so weird and uncomfortable. Shout out Toni Collette. She goes apeshit in this scene. And a lot of the conversations that happen in this scene in the movie are things that happened in the first part of the book, because the plot of the book and the movie is this girl and a guy. The girl is unnamed in the book. She's named in the movie. Are driving to his parents' house for dinner. That's it. So the first hour of the audiobook, 100 pages, 50 pages, whatever, it's all monologues of her diving into their relationship and really digging deep. And it's so intricate and it builds the character so much. And like, who wants to watch a movie where it's a girl sitting in a car giving monologues? Like, it's not that adaptable. So they took all of that plot and shifted it to the middle of the movie. And I was like, watching the movie, I was like, shit, where's all this? Like, I'm missing out on how cool this car scene is in the book. And then they play it in the movie. So the movie adapts the book really well in that it uses the same themes, scenes, but kind of makes them watchable as a film. I think it's really cool. The movie is phenomenal. It's Jesse Plemons, Jesse Buckley, Toni Collette. Yeah, it's great. It's a really cool movie. Super trippy. Charlie Kaufman, the GOAT.
Yes.
Yeah, it's peak. It's on Netflix. Netflix original.
I'm looking it up on Netflix now, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fever dream of a movie. Like it's super trippy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not too long either. Looks like about 2 hours.
yeah, it's just over 2 hours, 2 hours 10, something like that. But um, I highly recommend like if you get into audiobooks, the performance is great. And it's all on Spotify for free if you have premium, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think that it there's a whole plot line in the book that they don't really show in the movie, which sucks because the book is way more horror than the movie. The movie's a bit more of a slow burn drama that's like very introspective, and the book kind of pushes the horror a bit more. But yeah, watching the movie after reading half the book, really cool experience. I love it. It's not my favorite Charlie Kaufman movie, but I still adore it. Yeah. Yeah.
So my next one is The Sixth Sense, but I'm going to skip over that and go to my next watch, Godzilla versus Megalon, 1973, where Godzilla teams up with Jet Jaguar, who is one of the sickest looking characters in all of cinema. And this movie is just ridiculous. It's campy. The first watch, I watched the American dub of it, which sucks. They are so loud in the American dub that at points their audio starts to.
What is this?
Yeah, that's the one.
Look like Power Rangers.
It's Power Rangers, but Godzilla really bad and really loud. There's points where you know how if you really crank up the bass on audio, the whole thing just sounds like, and you can't even make out what they're saying. That's this whole movie. That's all of the dialogue in this movie is just that noise. And the movie sucks, but it is so fun. And if we're talking about movies that are just purely fun, this is at the top of the line. And we're gonna come back to this movie in 1 second. So, yeah, what's your next one?
Yeah, you're not gonna like this. I rewatched Halloween. This is the most overrated horror movie of all time. It's too slow. I don't think I think Michael Myers is one of the less scary horror killers. I think that Jason is more intimidating, but the Friday the 13th movies are way more campy, so they don't feel as scary. I think Michael Myers' brutality is really cool, but again, I think Jason is a more intimidating killer, especially because Michael Myers just walks everywhere. Man is allergic to running. It's crazy. I appreciate the score. I think John Carpenter cooking up this score by himself. Cool as shit. Laurie is so good in this movie, and then the fall off, it goes crazy. Donald Pleasance, the goat. The absolute goat, bro. Oh my god.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I had this movie hyped up so hard for me, and I think my expectations got the better of me. And then I watched the sequels, which just made me dislike this more. I don't know how many of the Halloween sequels you've seen, but
I've seen most of them.
They're pretty bad.
They're bad. Most of them are. I think 1 through 4 are good, and pretty much everything after that.
4 is so good, dude. 4 is absolute gas.
So this was the third horror movie I ever watched. So maybe it is just a lot of personal stuff for me. I watched Scream, because I was told it was a good intro into horror, and my aunt said it was terrifying. So I was like, I gotta check that out. And it was a great intro into horror.
That's interesting because I think that Scream would maybe be good after like watching the original Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that. Because Scream plays so much on horror tropes that having seen the horror tropes in other horror movies, maybe you would think it's funnier.
But I didn't go into it thinking of it as a comedy. I went into it thinking this is a horror movie. And I was always terrified of horror movies. My dad loved them and my sister loved them, so they watched a lot of them growing up. In fact, I remember one time running out of the room because they were putting on Signs, which we'll get to in the series, and I've still never seen it since. But I
get that.
So there's a lot of personal stuff in it for me because I watched Scream, and then another night I went to my friend's house who had never really seen many horror movies either. So it was very exciting for us. And we decided to put on the second Friday the 13th because that was the first one with Jason in it. We
Yeah.
wanted to do that. And we put on Halloween. So there's a lot of personal stuff to it for me.
Yeah.
Also, I just love this movie. It's awesome.
Dude, I love you're scared that your parents are even watching a horror movie feeling, because let me tell you, when Paranormal Activity came out on physical, my parents rented it from Rogers, not Blockbuster. Like, we did Rogers, like, had phones and video games and movies to rent. And I did not sleep a fucking wink that night. I couldn't even hear. I couldn't hear the movie. I was in my bed. I was too scared, even just that was in my house. The presence of that film was in my house, dude. I was way too scared for that. And then,
Yeah. I mean, that's
I really, and then I watched it and I loved it. Like, I have that connection with horror that is just so. It's fun to be scared by a movie. I think it's like you open yourself up to be kind of vulnerable, and you're like going into it. And I love. You're sitting there and you recognize that you're scared. you like lock in and you're like, oh, I'm scared right now. But you kind of like it. It's like watching, I went to go see Hereditary by myself in theaters. Didn't know shit about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm scared. I don't like this. But I love it at the same time. I think horror is just such a great medium because it elicits emotions that not much else can.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree.
I would like to see Halloween in theaters, because I do think the first one is like the tension is there.
Theaters?
What do you mean?
Like, is it commonly played in movie theaters? Like now? Because I know there are some movies that still are. Oh, well, if it is, I would love to get to that.
Yeah, the place where I saw the TV Glow does retro movies all the time. That's where they're playing North by Northwest. So I've been keeping an eye out because I do want to see it in theaters. Yeah, Halloween is one that I wish I liked more because I love horror. It's one of my favorite genres in film, and this is just one that I don't really connect to. Insane poster, by the way, but like it's so good.
I mean,
yeah.
I have a theater near, pretty close to me, about an hour away, that recently played the 400 Blows. So I'll keep an eye out if they play it around October, probably. So then I watched Unbreakable, which we'll get into in a little bit. And after watching Unbreakable, I needed a pick-me-up. So I returned to Godzilla vs. Megalon. This time I watched it in the original audio. Banged even harder. I mean, this movie is it's truly incredible. I have it at a 98 out of 100, or I have it at a 99 out of 100 now. The thing about this movie is that watching it in the original audio, you really understand a lot of the message that this movie is trying to convey, which is really not much of a message at all, but it's cool.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice.
Godzilla vs. Megalon, awesome movie.
Yeah, let me really quick. This shout out to the Globe Theater in Calgary. This is where the film festivals are held and where you go to watch cool shit. So the current lineup at the Globe is Pink Flamingos, John Waters' famous movie that I've never seen, but maybe I should go see in theaters. The Handmaiden, which I know you don't like.
I have a strong opinion about that movie.
Yeah. A movie called Suburbia, which I've never heard of. And then The Toxic Avenger, which I've heard of, I've never seen.
Watch The Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. It's the 40th anniversary, so they're playing in theaters. I might have to go check that out.
My God,
they're playing. Oh, really? Oh, shit. And then they're playing Gaspar Noé's Climax, which I love, and I think would be really cool.
Is it good?
It's very intense. It's very, very intense and uncomfortable. Also, the movie kind of plays backwards.
Man, Gaspar Noé does it a lot, huh?
Dude, he loves playing his movies in reverse. But it's cool. Like the end credits roll at the start of the movie, and then the like title card plays at the end. It's really cool.
Huh.
I like Gaspar. He knows how to fuck you up. And then there's a Freaks Come Out at Night secret double feature of horror films, but they're not telling you what's playing, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, shout out to the Globe, because that's like that's what I love is that's where I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey. I saw The Devil there. I've seen a bunch of cool movies at the Globe, and yeah, support
Um,
local cinema.
I have not seen Pink Flamingos because I'm human, and I'm
Heard there's a lot of
14.
poop in that movie.
Yeah, that'd probably be a movie to see with an audience if you get the chance.
Yeah, I have to hit up my
Yeah.
brother.
So it's time to talk about M. Night Shyamalan.
What do we want to start with?
I mean, we could start with Sixth Sense since I
Let's
a
start with Sixth Sense because you like it a bit more.
little bit.
You gave it a 3, or right?
Yeah,
Two and a
I
half,
love-
but Tony Collette boosted it to a 3.
yeah. This movie is a 2.5-star movie, but Tony Collette really worked for it, so I'll give it a 3. Because I'm kind, and there's
Yeah.
one part in a car towards the end that I think her performance was riveting. But my God, does this script suck? It is so bad.
I have a question for you. How many
Yes.
Shyamalan movies have you seen?
How many Shyamalan movies have I seen? A couple.
Like-
Hold on. Let me go in and count. So I've seen Sixth Sense now. I've
Yeah.
seen Knock at the Cabin. I've seen Old. I've seen Unbreakable, and I've seen The Visit. I've also seen The Last Airbender, but that doesn't really count because that doesn't even feel like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So I've seen a couple. I've not seen all of them. However, every single one that I've seen, except maybe Old, I don't remember the dialogue in Old,
It's
has
not good.
unbelievably bad dialogue.
Yeah,
These movies are impressively why so level bad.
I agree. I don't agree with these two movies. I think they're probably his best. I mean, Knock at the Cabin has a good script because it's based on a book though, so he had source material.
Yep.
Um, it's so weird because like I don't really think Sixth Sense has bad dialogue. I think Unbreakable is a bit more cheesy because it's very
It's so stupid.
superhero-y.
It's so stupid.
But I'm run me through the bad dialogue in The Sixth Sense because I think it's a pretty effective.
And it's not even just the dialogue, it's this script as a whole. There is a moment at the very beginning of the movie where it's like, I don't know, 15 seconds of like a foreplay moment
Yeah,
where Bruce Willis says ka-chow while taking his shirt off.
that's cool.
Who
That
does
shit.
that, man?
Bruce Willis
Like,
does that.
Bruce Willis does that.
Yeah, I bet he improv that.
And there's a couple of moments in this movie where I mean, maybe I'm not going to pull out specific lines because I don't remember them, but there are moments where I was genuinely cringing at the dialogue and sort of saying to myself, because someone commented on my Letterboxd review, it's only hailed as one of the best scripts ever written, but yeah, I've heard that statement before. I don't
I've not
believe
heard that.
anyone believes that. I hope. I mean, the script is just really, really subpar. Like, I've seen student films with better scripts than this, where it just didn't feel as corny and robotic. I mean, it almost felt like M. Night Shyamalan, because he wrote this script. It almost seems like he didn't have any human experience, like he'd never had a conversation before. I just don't know what's going on.
This might be a stretch. This is probably a very large stretch, but again, I didn't find the robotic thing particularly prevalent in this movie. I think it's more prevalent in his later movies, like The Happening. That feels like it's not written by humans. A compliment, by the way. Compliment. That movie's hysterical. But Yorgos, in his first couple movies, writes exactly like this, where it feels
But
inhumane.
Yorgos movies, I imagine. Again, I haven't seen anything but poor things. I imagine sort of acknowledge it and sort of play it in a comedic sense, where I genuinely think M. Night Shyamalan believes he's writing a dramatic script. It feels like Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
And
Again,
where it fell apart for me.
Do you want me to tell you something that I think you're gonna hate?
Yeah.
This movie is nominated for Best Screenplay at the Oscars.
I'm not surprised. Didn't Crash win an Oscar, the 2000s one?
Yeah, it won
Not.
Best Picture. That movie's overhated. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
What other movies have won awards? Look at, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bohemian Rhapsody won a good chunk of Oscars.
Yeah.
Is that a good movie? No, it's not.
It's an Oscar baity movie though.
It is.
And
Look
again,
at
the Oscars do not like mean shit.
not really, but I mean, these are movies. There are movies that exist that get nominated for Oscars just because everyone's like, "Wow, that movie has a good twist." Which, by the way, predicted the twist an hour in. Not that good. It is a not great twist.
Do you like the premise of this film?
I like the premise, but there are movies with good premises with horrible execution.
Dude, this
I
is
mean,
like here's the crazy comparison. Tarkovsky doing the same shit. Cool ass premise, boring movie, which is going to come into play a lot later in the Shyamalan.
oh god, man.
I'm not saying
I
anything
can't
good about this movie. I feel bad.
I can't believe it gets worse. I mean, if I just go into my Letterboxd review of this movie, if I can just pull something out here, while this movie does have high points, Toni Collette, Haley Joel Osment, Bruce Willis, and some of the cinematography, it is pretty equally weighed by its two prominent, incredibly low points: the writing and the blatant hits at the twist, which are very much enough to whack a whole 2 stars off of this movie, because the twist is always right under your nose, and M. Night really thinks he's being very clever. Spoilers now for The Sixth Sense. He thinks he's really clever, but it starts to become very clear that no one's acknowledging the existence of Bruce Willis's character, which, like, there's better ways to play it than having him stand in the aisle watching while no one's acknowledging that this one man is standing in the aisle that looks nothing like any of the kids on stage. This man is not a father of any of those children. This is a random man standing in the aisle, and no one acknowledges him being there. He sits next to Toni Collette in multiple scenes. Not once does she look at him. He's so blatant with what he's doing. He's not
I need
hiding.
to admit something. I can't say no to any of these points because I had seen this movie before, so I knew the plot twist, and I was not looking for these types of things. So I don't.
I didn't know the plot.
Yeah, I believe that everything you're saying is true. I
Yes,
I do think the reveal is a really cool scene.
I guess. I mean, this
Even if
movie's a 3 star. That's not bad. It's on the better half of the rating spectrum. When we get to Unbreakable, I'm going to be tearing everything apart. This is a decent movie. That's what this is. It is a decent movie.
so, let me spit,
Please.
if you will.
Yeah.
I think the horror in this movie is actually pretty good. The body horror. There's some great. Maybe body horror is the wrong word. There's shots that are kind of in passing that are really creepy, like him and just seeing a woman with a large shotgun wound to the back of her head walk past. You're not expecting it, and I think it's pretty. It's unsettling because the movie doesn't play like a horror movie.
Yeah, not
Yet
at all.
it has some like disturbing. I mean, we were talking about mysterious skin and the coffee table and all this shit. So disturbing. It's like disturbing for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Where it really comes out of nowhere, and I think the girl who's got like the pus coming out of her mouth in the
Yeah.
tent, the tent scene, that scene's really cool. And I think that right after that, when Bruce Willis is like, well, what if you acknowledge them and talk to them? I think that plays into a really great dynamic where Haley Joel Osment, who is so good in this movie, I don't know if my review is kind of niche. I wrote, man, who knew Sora with his big clown shoes was such a good actor? Because Haley Joel Osment plays Sora in Kingdom Hearts, which I didn't know until I like played Kingdom Hearts again. Crazy shit. But I think once he starts acknowledging them, it leads into a couple of pretty cool scenes. Like I love the funeral scene where he brings the box to the father and he's watching the videotape and leads to that confrontation where it's like, oh yeah, you were, keeping her sick. It's like that Munchausen by proxy type shit. I thought that was a really cool scene, and it's kind of cathartic almost to see Haley in this state of acceptance. I don't know if you agree with that. I think that that's like my favorite part is when he's kind of like embracing the horror because yeah, they're scary, but I mean they're still human, and
I
it
mean, I guess.
it's super corny because it's like yes, dead people are scary, but they're still human to him, and you know Bruce Willis is like the epitome of that.
Yeah.
So it's a corny ass movie, but I think it's very effective in telling a like hybrid horror story with like some cool messaging. I gave this movie a 4.5, I think. Maybe it's nostalgia. This is the first horror movie I ever saw. My mom was adamant that I could not watch this movie, and I went to shout out to my grandma yet again. We rented this movie. She was like, fuck them parents. We're watching this." And I remember it's such a like, oh, like we're doing something bad and thinking it was so cool. So I like have nostalgia for this movie a lot. So maybe it plays into that. It's probably closer to a 4, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I
Fair
have
enough.
more issues with Unbreakable. I almost like we can get into that now if you want, like unless you had more.
Yeah. No, I have nothing else to add. This movie's
So
shallow. Let's go
I
to Unbreakable. The
okay,
most I've ever been after a movie was over. Go ahead.
I have one thing that I desperately hate about this movie, and it is the last like 45 seconds when it plays out like the end of an 80s comedy where it's
Yeah.
freeze frames with text on the screen. It is so off-putting because the scene between Mr. Glass and David Dunn is awesome. I think it's a cool ass scene. Him realizing that Mr. Glass has just been slaughtering people for years to find somebody who's the opposite of him. Cool ass scene. And then it is so abrupt. It's insane how abrupt it is, dude. It's like that scene happens, and as he's walking away, it's immediate. It's like, oh yeah, the movie's done. And it's like one of those cheesy biopics where it's like, where are they now? And it's like David Dunn works as this now, and Mr. Glass is in an insane asylum, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Why were we rushing the ending of this so much? This isn't a very long movie. Like, what is going on?
I'll chip in there.
Yeah.
Because I've seen dramatic movies use this ending and they use it well. I've seen dramatic movies use this ending. In fact, I've been editing a short film that I'm working on. I've been editing it for like 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm thinking of ending it with something very similar to this. But
hopefully it's not as abrupt because it's so abrupt in this movie.
There are ways to use it. They use it at the end of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High, an 80s stoner comedy. This is a really, really pathetic attempt at a superhero movie that cuts into it, like you said, in an incredibly jarring manner. It did not need to end with this. And I thought, wait a minute, there has to be something after this. No, they throw 2 sequels in this movie series. 2 sequels, because there's now Glass and Split, which I'm so ungodly.
Have you not seen either of them?
No, I'm very unhopeful.
Split is awesome. Split's okay. Spoilers for Split. The connection between Unbreakable and Split happens in a post-credit scene. In Split, David Dunn shows up in a post-credit scene in Split. That's the connection. So Split is not connected to this movie or Glass. Well, Glass, yeah, Glass is connected. It's all 3 of them, and it's terrible. I hate Glass so much.
Well, yeah, this movie ended, and as the credits rolled, there was a genuine audible groan of, my God, I just sat for 2 hours for that. And while this movie thinks it's doing something interesting with the comic books and stuff, the best part of this movie is when Samuel L. Jackson yells at a guy for trying to buy a comic book for a 4-year-old and screams, "You see any Teletubbies?" And that is easily the best part of this movie, which is saying something because, oh my god, man, this movie's so bad. I mean, I just want you to tell me any redeeming factors here because I watched the
Yeah.
movie and I was unable to scavenge out any. There's
First
not a
off,
single redeeming factor other
I,
than
I
maybe
love
this.
I love the performances. I think Mr. Glass is an awesome, chaotic supervillain. He is searching for meaning in his life, and he owns a comic book shop. He's not really sure what the fuck to do with himself. Um, and he's got the crazy hair. Like he is the blueprint for a supervillain. And it's not till the end when spoilers. We're gonna do spoilers for this, by the way.
Yeah.
We've already been doing it, but yeah, spoilers for Unbreakable. Like I love that scene between him and Bruce Willis at the end where he's like, I know what I finally am now. I'm the supervillain. Like, I'm the arch nemesis. That's awesome shit. I think the scene with David Dunn confronting his, like, almost near death experience as a kid or whatever when he almost drowned, he goes to save this family from, like, the abusive dad. I think that scene's really cool. And it's, like, really moody. It's pouring rain, nighttime, looks great. I think this movie looks really good. So I really like that scene. I think it's effective and like it's like a hell yeah moment. I had seen this movie when I was a kid, but I didn't remember it. So this was kind of like a first watch. I knew the plot twist. As with most M. Night Shyamalan movies, I know the plot twist because he's known for plot twists, and they're just everywhere. Like next week, we're doing The Village. Yep, know the plot twist of that. I've never seen the movie though, which sucks.
We're doing The Village next week.
Next week is Signs in the Village.
Maybe Signs will be good. Maybe Signs will be good.
Signs is so good. But yeah, I like that scene a lot. I love the scene when him and Mr. Glass are at the stadium, and he's like, he knows that the guy has a gun on him, so he starts like searching more, and then get like the heebie-jeebies when Mr. Glass falls down the stairs and just like breaks every bone in his body. Like the movie is over the top like a superhero movie, but it also has some grounded moments. And David Dunn is kind of like an everyman or an everyday man, whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of fits into like a street level superhero type movie blueprint, but like very subdued. And I love the scene between him and his son where his son keeps loading the bar up and Bruce Willis and it's just like, I've never lifted that much before. How much do you take off? Or it's like, how much you take off? It's like, oh, I put more on. And he's like, I put it all on. And it's like, yeah, that's sick as hell. Like Bruce Willis is clearly extremely strong, never been hurt before.
Can we quickly talk about the scene in the dinner thing where the kid pulls out the gun and says, "No, but he won't be hurt. He won't be." What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I always criticize M. Night's writing. I don't think it's something he's good at. Even in the movies I like The Visit is so corny, but it's hysterical.
I've seen The Visit.
I love The Visit. I think it's hysterical. It's so funny.
I gotta rewatch it, which I will.
I think that M. Night thrives on cool plots, and no matter how serious the movies are, they're goofy. They're all goofy because that's just kind of the movies he makes. They're just goofy.
Okay.
And it's kind of like just his style that you kind of accept that no matter what you're watching, it's going to feel goofy. And so I don't find myself questioning any level of goofiness in any scene because I know what I'm getting into. I've seen the good M. Night Shyamalan and I've seen the bad, and both of them, like, I have The Happening in it's number 4 on my Shyamalan rankings, and I have it at a 2.5. It's above Knock at the Cabin, which I have at a 3.5, because The Happening is so over the top goofy and so robotic. It feels like it's not written by a human being. But M. Night Shyamalan just crafted a ridiculous movie, and there's this whole I was listening to the Real Talk guys. We were talking about Owen the other day. He was on this episode, and they did a whole rundown of all of M. Night Shyamalan movies. And he was talking about how The Happening is this like commentary on 9/11 and the world's response to like attacks and stuff like that. I don't get into that when it comes to M. Night Shyamalan movies. I'm not looking for a deeper meaning. I'm there for shitty dialogue, a cool plot, a plot twist, no matter how good or bad the plot twist is. Like me and Trey were talking about The Lie last week. Ridiculous plot twist. Not a good one, but a funny one. And so I find that when you watch Shyamalan, you just kind of have to accept that that's what you're getting into. And like The Sixth Sense, I think is a good movie. I think Knock at the Cabin is a great movie. It doesn't really have a plot twist. Signs has a pretty goofy plot twist, but it's a fantastic movie.
What are your thoughts on After Earth?
I haven't seen it. I need to.
Excited for that.
That double feature is going to be so brutal. After Earth and Avatar, like we're doomed.
No.
So when you bring up a goofy scene, like I'd kind of just like, that's Shyamalan. Like that's what we're doing here is goofiness, because that's what, whether or not that's what he's going for, that's what you're getting. And it's just kind of acceptance of that.
Okay.
Do you think that I'm just making excuses for bad movies?
Right
because
now?
Because that's valid. If you, okay.
Yeah. I mean, saying I'm going into it expecting a movie that sucks, like you can do that when the movie's so bad it's good. Something like Sharknado is entirely loathsome. Well, maybe that is what The Happening is. I wouldn't be surprised if M. Night did that on accident. I mean,
he probably did it on accident, but it doesn't take away from.
But I mean, at this point, right? I no longer have any hope for any of these movies. So my bar is already through the ground. So even if these movies suck, if there's any redeeming qualities at all, I will probably be a little more accepting. Anything else, if anything. What?
Signs is a lot less goofy than this, except Joaquin Phoenix's character is a tinfoil hat type guy. So it's very goofy for his character, just so you know that going in. But that movie is a lot less over the top. It's an effective alien movie. And I don't like alien movies because I don't think they're very scary.
Yeah.
I don't find it like... It's creepy. It's creepy.
Well, then that's something to look forward to. The only other one of these that I'm looking forward to is The Lady in the Water.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, and I don't know the spoils or like the plot twist, so I'm actually excited for that too. I know people don't like it. That's what I know about it.
I know that a lot of people hate it, but a couple of people have it at like 4.5 or 5. It's like a small number, and it's led by Paul Giamatti and Jeffrey Wright and Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh shit!
So, also, M. Night is at the top of the cast list, which means that he puts himself in a lot of movies.
He's in all of his movies, I think, or most of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Jeff Prophet all over again, in more ways than one.
Peak.
But yes.
I'm excited to watch these movies because I'm very curious to see if you're going to change your tone on some of these movies the more you like as we go through them, because what are we double featuring The Happening with? I might watch it soon just for watching it.
The Happening and The Lady in the Water. Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm curious to see if you'll change your tone just to acceptance on what you're getting into, because
I really hope I don't get to that point. Maybe I'll keep watching until I go on to level things up.
Yeah. I did enjoy even though I was prepared to just be angry about this whole thing. because I saw your scores and I was like, oh, it's over. But I think it's fun to talk about a director that is very divisive. I mean, when we talk about Old, I fucking hate that movie. I think it's terrible.
I think
And
it's
Trey,
I haven't seen it since 21. Understand? I
yeah,
watched it when it first came out. So
yeah, and Trey has it at the same rating as me, but he loves that movie because he thinks it's so bad it's good.
really, what does he
So
have?
he has it at a half star. We both have it at a half star. It's terrible.
I never said that.
You told me it
I
was
never
funny,
said that.
or
I
we?
never said that.
I have it
Oh
at
wait,
3.5.
maybe we're
Sure,
talking about
Trey.
Glass. Is it Glass that you think is so bad it's good?
Oh no, Glass. I don't even think Glass is bad. I think Glass is pretty good.
Oh shit. Maybe okay. Sorry, I misquoted Trey. Sorry. Trey,
Glass
do you think I'm
is
spitting
awesome.
about? Do you think I'm spitting about Shyamalan just being that kind of director where you go in expecting goofiness as we wrap up our first Shyamalan episode?
I haven't been here, so I'm gonna give my Shyamalan take.
Yeah, because
I love his movies. Sixth Sense was the first horror movie I ever watched,
same.
and I didn't even get through it all the way because the scene where the lady's is like showing her wrists and she's like, "Look at what you've done to me!" I was like, "Dad, we got to turn this off. This is freaking
Yeah.
me out."
Fair.
And I think Haley Joel Osment acts his ass off.
Yep.
I also think I don't believe you, Jagger, that you guessed the twist.
I did. I did.
I don't believe you, and that's really cool if you did,
Okay.
but I'm never gonna believe you because I remember it's the perfect twist because you don't guess it, and then it happens in the end, and you go back and watch it, and you're like, "Holy shit, that makes so much sense."
Let
At
me,
least for
Trey.
me.
If he guesses the plot twist to Signs, I'm not believing him.
I don't even
I
remember
prob-
what the plot twist is.
I probably won't guess it. I don't know any of the Shyamalan twists going into this. I want
Okay.
you all to know that. I don't know any of them. And
So
I
what
really-
I
The one
Aliens
from
are
Glass
like-
is pretty cool.
I really
Gonna
doubt
say
that there's
that.
anything cool about Glass. I'm having so much doubt for that movie. You don't even understand.
Dude, it's like M. Night Shyamalan's Avengers Endgame. It's awesome.
That sounds terrible. That
That's
sounds
crazy.
horrible. But
so
That's all I'm
what
saying.
what I was saying, Trey, was that Shyamalan's dialogue is so inherently goofy that you kind of get to a point of acceptance where it's like you know what you're getting into. You're getting into a cool plot twist, goofy dialogue at times. I don't think The Sixth Sense has bad dialogue. I don't really subscribe to that. Or Unbreakable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is really crazy.
Sixth Sense
but
makes me cry.
yeah, same.
Sixth Sense made me mad.
But yeah, this was an interesting conversation that I think set the ground. I don't know what I'm looking for, but it set the tone for our coming episodes because next week.
I want to hop in and I want to defend the dinner table scene where.
Wait, with the gun? That stupid scene?
With the gun. No, okay. Let me say.
Go ahead.
Obviously, he has a very tumultuous. I don't know if I said that right. I don't think I did.
Tumultuous, yeah.
But he has a very rough marriage. Like his wife is in a very rough place. We learned later that the times he's hanging out with his son is him finally connecting with his son. He keeps his wife and his son as a distance. We see that as he tries to flirt with the lady at the beginning of the movie, and then he puts his ring back on. Bruce Willis even says in that scene, "I finally thought we were becoming friends." And it's so apparent that this kid is so distraught because he just wants to connect with his dad, and he is looking for anything, no matter how outlandish, to connect. And so he has convinced himself that his dad is invincible. And obviously he's not going to... No. obviously isn't going to drop like this banger line. It's going to be like, you know, like, what time is it? Okay, we should be done soon. Yes, I just saw that, Jagger. Uh, no, and I think that it's so perfect because he finally has something he feels like he can connect with his dad with, and they like return to it at the end when his dad shows him the news article, and like he's like, I'm a superhero now, and the son's like crying, and now they have
Sick ass
and
scene.
you'll get into that relationship more in Glass. Like his son becomes like his guy in the chair. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just God, I love Unbreakable, dude. It's outstanding. David Dunn is just the coolest guy.
Cool guy.
But yeah, cool guys doing cool guy shit. You know what we say
Yep.
on the pod? Cool guys doing cool guy shit.
Yeah, he's benching 350. He's crazy.
Dude, bro is a fucking unit.
Yeah, he's
I can
huge.
barely bench the bar, and bro is out here benching all the plates plus paint cans. Who is this guy?
Yeah, beast.
Yeah, Evan, do you want to send us off?
Yeah. This was a very fun discussion, and I'm so excited to talk about Signs because I'm praying that you love it.
I'm excited to talk about the Gold Rush.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, let me do that really quick. I totally forgot about those things. Next Tuesday you can catch us talking about unprofessional. The Gold Rush and Before Sunrise. Before Sunrise is perfect. I can't wait for that. The Tuesday after that, we're talking 12 Years a Slave and Blade Runner, the best science fiction movie of all time. So tune in for some major glaze because Blade Runner is perfect. 12 Years a Slave, pretty good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Next Friday, we said it before, we got Signs and The Village. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited to watch The Village because I've heard a lot about it, and I know it's pretty divisive, so we'll see. And then the Friday after that is The Lady in the Water and The Peakening, The Happening. It's coming. So tune in for those. Subscribe to all our things. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple. Follow us. I'm Evan0567 on Letterboxd. The Average Film Enjoyers HQ will be up very soon. I'll be taking care of that. Trey is Trey the Film Noob pretty much everywhere. I don't know yours, Jagger. You got to do yours.
Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd, and check out OJ Productions on YouTube. That's the short films I'm making. I've got one coming out in like 2 weeks. So
heck yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna watch The Coffee Table after this. So
yes, please.
I'm very. Is it in English?
Is it in English? No, it's in Spanish, but it's like 90 minutes and it flies by.
I'll lock in. So yeah, we're gonna have a really fun episode next Tuesday talking about Before Sunrise, and Jagger and Trey talking about the Gold Rush. I'll put it on. Probably won't finish it, but yep.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.